Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Good morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Little Monday action. Little Monday for everybody, huh? And this is the last official week of the NBA offseason, right? We are now 8 days away from the regular season tipping off. We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, okay? We're going to overreact to some preseason stuff. That's it. That is the agenda. That is the only agenda for today. So do we have a lot of stuff? I don't know. But do we have stuff? Yes, we do. And we were battling the elements a little bit this morning. So I'm sorry if I sound a little congested. Honestly, down so bad that I missed the finals game yesterday. We had tickets to game 3 of the WNBA finals. Go Libs. Jonquel Jones out there balling yesterday. And I wasn't able to go because I was down bad. Kelsey still went. We were able to get another friend to go. Now we're thinking about scoping some tickets for Wednesday's game 4. We're going to force a game 5. Go Libs. Also, Michael Wilbon getting absolutely owned for his tweet about the energy. He's like, I don't know when the last time he was at a Liberty game. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to start with the WNBA, but Wilbon out there being like, it's like the worst fans in the world. I'm sorry, Mike Wilbon. You were confusing the New York Liberty with the Brooklyn Nets because the Liberty games are a vibe. Even if you don't like the WNBA, it's a vibe in there, okay? Also, Ellie was out there with Little Kim, so I'm glad right after the article came out in the New York Times that we got some Ellie love out there. Anyways, I'm bummed I missed it. Feeling a little bit better today, but still under the weather. Anyways, enough about that. Enough about me. Oh, well, actually, one more thing. I did see Jon Stewart and John Mulaney this weekend. Holy crap. Was not sure if they were both going to do a full hour. They both did a full hour. It was awesome. Really, really good. Excited to see what those specials look like when they come out. Anyways, all right. Now let's talk about you. Jump shoots up in here. We get Sneeps in the house. Happy National Sports Day. This is great. It's a well-themed day. Snoopaloop, thanks for sharing. Hugo's here. Josh is here. Santa's boys. Patrick Coyne says BJ. That's a reference to Bonjour, the GM of Victor Wembanyama. We the people made some money this weekend. I did not. 3DH is here. Skeets, good morning. No Dunks is back on a daily basis now. Let's go. Stubbs is here. Bowdivine in the house. Who else? We got the common man Ukulele's here. Who else? Brackenridge, who's just been grinding those double dribbles. I see you in every freaking draft. Also, the Wembanyama stock is up in that world. We got Matic Otto in here. Ooh, you hit the withdraw button? Okay, Snoopaloop. Billy Jackson in the house. Go sign up for top tier projections. Gilbert's here. All right, everybody's here. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all of those things. Just some content updates, right? So 89 Cavs is back tonight, which is exciting. We've got Shot Tank is back on Wednesday night. And then obviously on Fridays, we're doing the Underdog Happy Hour show at 3 p.m. The NBA Bet will be here Monday through Friday. But let's talk. Listen, the NBA tips off on Tuesday. As you guys know, we do that 8-hour marathon stream. We get an update on some guests. We'll hit you with that in just a second here. But that's presented by SoRare. We're going to be live from the SoRare studios. We're going live at noon. A week from tomorrow, all the way up till tip for the first game. We're going to be giving out some NBA tickets. We'll be giving out some Team Hold merch, some SoRare merch, some SoRare cards. A lot of fun stuff. Let's talk about some of these guests, though, shall we? We've got Ian Carmel, who you should know from All Fantasy Everything podcast. He used to be one of the, I think he was the head writer on the Corden Late Night Show. Really funny stand-up, but more importantly, diehard Portland Trailblazers fan. We got Adam Mares from DNVR going to talk to us a little about those nougats. We got Skeets joining. And I don't know, maybe we just talk about no buffs. We just talk Survivor the whole time when Skeets is here. We got Andrew Schlecht from Down to Dunk and The Athletic. He's going to come on and talk some Thunder. We've got Katie Heindel from Basketball Feelings. Excuse me, we got a cough. We've got Keith Parrish from the Fast Break Breakfast podcast. We've got Howard Beck from The Ringer. And we've got Marcus Thompson joining the show as well. So we've got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff. Also, Drunk Tree in the chat. Let's go. Drunk Tree's back at it. So that guest list is fire. We still have a couple more that we're going to be adding in as well. 89 Cavs will be there, of course. So I'm very excited about that. We got to do a drop real quick because I got a cough. Who's ready to yell? Well, the top. There we go. That's good. I like that. But yeah, I'm excited. Marcus Thompson was a fun ad too. I'm always surprised who's going to respond to a DM, you know? So that was really good. Really, I'm very pumped for that show. I'm pumped for the NBA to be back. So this is what we're going to do. Let's just go over this weekend's action. We'll do Friday tell you last night, there was only a couple games on Friday and a couple on Saturday. And then yesterday was a little bit more of a loaded slate. But a couple of fun things to talk about while we get through it, too. Especially if you're still doing some last-minute drafts on Underdog. By the way, use promo code HOLD for a 100% deposit bonus match up to $500 right now. They up that ish. Because we only got a week left of drafting those double dribbles. And actually, if I look at this right now, I want to say, what's our overlay looking like? Right now, only 56% is full. And the prize pool is guaranteed. So somehow, if that doesn't fill, that's free money, baby. All right, let's get into it. Let's go over some of this weekend's action. We're going to start on Friday. We're going to go chronological, okay? We're not just going to pick the highlights we want to highlight, okay? We're going to go, every game is important to me. But we are starting with Wembanyama. So maybe you can throw that theory out the window. Spurs won on Friday, 120-104. I did say that I went to Mulaney and John Stewart. And I don't want to say that I wish I wasn't there because I had an incredible time, but you lock your phones away, right? So you put your phone in that pouch. My phone is gone for like 4 hours, which honestly was a very freeing experience. But then I turn my phone back on and it's just memes everywhere of Thomas Bryant. I mean, that Space Jam-esque dunk from Wemby where he just kind of stretch Armstrong, French Gumby shit, throws it down. And Thomas Bryant looks at the bench like, bro, what do you want me to do, man? What do you want me to do? But let's start with the Heat culture. So even though they lost 121-104, obviously Jimmy Buckets didn't play, Hero didn't play, Bam didn't play. They just kind of threw out some other guys. Jamal Cain, though. And the only reason I want to highlight some of this is because we know Miami is a little shorthanded, or some guys are going to have to elevate and going to get playing time. So if we're looking at whether it's Best Ball or SoRare or DFS, some of these names we've probably heard before, but might pop a little bit. So Jamal Cain right there, 24-10 in 27 minutes, 24-10. Orlando Robinson came off the bench, but played 17 minutes. He had 12-4. Now let's get onto the Spurs. All right. Wemby had 4-4 in 23 minutes with just wild highlights. Devin Vassell, who we've been pumping up here, had 21-3 in 22 minutes. Beware the Sohan. I got to come up with another bit. I've been saying that almost every time. He had 10-6-3. And then listen, this is what I learned. Sure, I learned that Wemby is living up to the hype right now. He seems like he's going to do damage right away. Did you know Cedi Osman was on the San Antonio Spurs? I had no idea. I've been grinding tape, had no idea Cedi was on the Spurs. Let Cedi cook, baby. So in best ball stuff, I had been kind of fading Wemby because he had been going anywhere from 26 to 30 overall. And I was like, listen, they're not going to run him out there. He's not going to play a ton of minutes. I don't think the Spurs are trying to be competitive right away. I don't know how important that, they're thinking about this season, right? This is a long view approach for the San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. I think I might have to take the L on this, guys. So on Saturday morning, I got up and I was doing a couple of double dribble drafts. Wemby was going 16th overall. I saw him go 10th overall in one of these drafts. Now, I still think that's a little wild, but I think I do have to hold a little bit of an L because he is going to, it just seemed like he was going too early. I was like, we're taking him over dudes like Lauri Markkanen, who, again, I know Lauri's not a sexy name, but Lauri is out there. We're taking him over Towns, Bam, real dudes. And you know what? I think might be an L for me because he looks good. Also, we get a Borland sighting, baby. So yeah, man, I'm in. I'm buying all the hype. I know that there's still injury concerns, but the way he moves, I like the way you move. He's just, I don't know, man. Yeah, Brackenridge said I just started getting shares a week ago. Yeah, I think I did 3 this weekend where I forced it. And there's a couple of players like that I'm starting to just jam in. Because I'm just going to be so mad. He's so fun to watch and root for that if I don't have any exposure, I'm going to feel brutal. Top Shot comment says, we'll see how tough Wemby is once he plays the Rockets and D. Brooks hits him in the balls. I said this last week. I totally missed that Dylan Brooks slapped somebody in the balls this weekend or last week, and he did it to the Indiana Pacers. Even preseason, he's ball hunting. Shout out Dylan Brooks. Nothing but consistent. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the commitment to the brand. Anyways, that was Spurs Heat. Again, we can't overreact too much to what Miami's doing. Miami had another game this weekend that's going to require some drops from us on our end. But second game that night, we only had 2 on Friday. We had the Warriors and the Lakers. And there's one thing, I'm not going to really dive into it until we get to the second game, but just think about something and we'll talk about it when we get to the second Warriors game because they played last night as well. Steph had 18 and 4 in 21 minutes. Moody off the bench had 15. Pajemski, is that? I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's the rookie that was the first round pick from Golden State. He had 10, 10, and 6 in 26 minutes off the bench. He actually started the second game. I'm curious how they're going to use him. Kuminga, 26 and 3 in 27 minutes. And then on the Lakers side of things, on the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron played, I think that was his debut, had 12 and 5 in 18 minutes. Austin Reeves had 16 and 3. Anthony Davis, 13, 6 and 4 in 22 minutes. And then listen, so when Taurean Prince signed with the Lakers, a lot of people were like, dude, there's a big shining. There's a big shining. And I was like, man, when's the last time Taurean was like really meaningful? I know he had a couple of minutes with Minnesota and we're like, oh, Prince, but I was like, come on, that ship has sailed. Prince looks all right. He's 17. He started the second game for him. I don't know. But anyways, Kuminga with a real big game there. That's fun. We'll talk more about them. Let's just move into Saturday. Only 3 games on Saturday. We start with the Hawks and the Pelicans. Atlanta won 110-105. Zion played a little more minutes. I'm nervous he's not putting up monster numbers, although he did go to the line 8 times, knocked them all down, won 17 and 6 in 25 minutes. But it is good to see him playing 25 minutes right away. I think he did 15 in his first game, like 20 in his second game, 25. So ramping him up. He looks like he's going to be ready to go in the postseason. He doesn't look as bouncy as he has in the past, but we'll see. Borland, boots on the ground in Minnesota, said Taurean is solid, not a game changer, but much better than people think. Yeah, I think he's going. Yeah, I think he's exactly what the Lakers needed. It was a good signing, and another L that I will hold up high. Hawkins, who I don't know who that is. I know who Dykes and Daniels, I'm thinking. Hawkins had 17 off the bench. I don't know who that man is, but he had 17 off the bench for the Pelicans. Okongwu on Yeka had 18 and 6 in 25 minutes. Trey had 15 and 5. Murray 12 and 7 with 4 steals. And then again, so Jalen Johnson did not start this game, which that was something we were following, right? He was starting in place of DeAndre Hunter. Hunter didn't play this game either. Johnson, though, off the bench had 12 and 7 in 17 minutes, so he continues to be good. Also, I'm going to reference this a couple of times, but if you guys don't subscribe to Tom Ziller's Good Morning, It's Basketball's newsletter, it's really fun, and he did a fun little breakdown today that was kind of like the stars of the Eastern Conference that aren't really stars, or the not so star. I forget how he titled it. What is he? Yeah, I forget how he titled it. But anyways, Okongwu is one of the guys that he talked about that he was excited about. And so I don't know. We've been pumped about Okongwu for a little while. He had a fun little write-up. So again, recommend checking that out. I'm going to reference it again when we get to some Charlotte Central. But yeah, that's really it, right? There was nothing else about that we needed to talk about. I guess like the Jalen Johnson stuff, I'm still going to pay attention to. I'm excited. I'm like, God, I don't normally root for Atlanta, but I do think I want some like good Atlanta vibes this year. You know, I kind of like because if it falls, if they flame out again this season or get off to a slow start or sitting in that like 7-11 or 7-10 range with how bad the Eastern Conference is, it's just like, man, what do you do there? What do you do? You know, no more excuses, right? You had a full off season with Quinn Snyder. You move John Collins. That's supposedly why the vibes are bad. I don't know. I feel like this is I was thinking about this when I was walking the dog. You know how we say like shit or get off the pot? Can we like pee or move off the bush? Is that like what dogs would say? That's what I was thinking about this weekend in my NyQuil fever dream. Anyways, okay, Minnesota Wolves, New York Knickerbockers, bing bong. Wolves won 121-112. Ant-Man, baby, 17 and 8 in 27 minutes. Towns had 17 and 5 in 27 minutes. Ready? Naz Reid, baby. Naz Reid, 22 points in 19 minutes, although I did put a little LOL because he got one whole rebound. RJ Barrett, 23 points in 26 minutes. Mitchell Robinson had 8 and 7. There was a funny quote from Mitch Rob over the weekend because he was in the rankings. He was like top 100. He was like the 100th best player in the NBA. I don't even know whose rankings these were, but he was 100. And they asked him a quote about being ranked 100, and he said, "I'm him." Now, him feels like a singular thing, right? That when you say "I am him," it sounds like there's only one him, and you are him. And it is funny to have that kind of response when they are based on this rankings, which you are responding to, 99 hymns ahead of you. So you are the 100th him. I mean, I guess there's something to be said for that, but I just love, hey, Mitchell, how do you feel about being ranked top 100 at 100 in the entire NBA? I am him. We've got to retire that, man. We've got the same way that we got to retire too small. We got to retire I'm him, right? Or there has to be, you have to hit a certain threshold before you're able to pronounce that out there. I'm him after like, and it wasn't like they weren't saying that there were 90, like this specifically in the question. Hey man, there's 99 people better than you. How do you feel? I am him. Chaos, baby. Chaos. Love the Bing Bong Boys of the New York Knicks. Anyways, he had 8 and 7. Miles McBride, who I forget is there, had 16 points. And then Evan Fournier dropped 15. And I'm laughing because Rudy Gobert, I love that Rudy Gobert was commenting on Evan Fournier. And I understand because they're French teammates. And Evan Fournier, every time it's international play, goes out there and balls. But Rudy was out there being like, you need to give Evan Fournier more minutes, baby. I don't know why you're burying him on the bench. And what I like about that is like, yes, he's probably supporting his fellow Frenchman, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, Knicks, I know you're a competitive team in the East, but your biggest mistake is not playing your 11th man a little bit more, right? I like that there's a little game theory there. So not only is it supporting his team, his teammate, but it's also trying to make the New York Knicks worse. And I like that. I like that strategy. Yeah, there you go. Maybe the same way that Daryl Morey owned Ben Simmons Hollow. Also, can we just go back to that, man? Remember, that's when we were really mooning. Daryl Morey was buying Top Shot moments of Ben Simmons. And we were like, dude, not only is Top Shot here to stay, so is Ben Simmons on the Philadelphia 76ers. Hold your L's up high. Oh, no. I took myself off the stage. How about that, huh? There we go. The Sixers, or maybe Roham was in my UX or whatever and took me off. That's UX was not the right word. Anyways, Wolves win that game 121-112. We love to see it. All right, the last game of the night, we had Jazz Blazers, and shout out both of those teams because neither were interested in defense. 138-133, the Utah Jazz win. Here's what was fun, though. Jeremy Grant, 24 points in 26 minutes, but not him. Anthony Simons, baby. The Simons was cooking. 29 points in 24 minutes. I know I was shouting out the Jazz for doing this in their last preseason game where they started the three guards of Scoot, Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe, which, again, I think is bad for basketball, but good for fantasy. This game, Shaedon Sharpe came off the bench, but balled. He had 27 and 4 off the bench. Scoot had 17 and 8, 2 for 7 from 3. So he didn't like blow the doors off, but still 17 and 8 is solid. On the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen had 26 and 9 in 25 minutes. Sexton, 16 and 6 off the bench. But then our boy Keontae, baby, still balling. So only played 23 minutes off the bench, 17, 4 and 2, pretty efficient during that time. And yes, I am pumping my bags on Keontae George, but I'm very excited to see what that guard rotation ends up looking like. Because again, right, you got Clarkson, Sexton, neither of them real true point guards. I just feel like Keontae George is going to earn himself some minutes there. But yeah, I'm excited. Again, both of those teams are going to be fun league pass teams. I think they're going to play fast. They're going to play furious. They're going to play Vin Diesel. Maybe Vin Diesel's music, right? Maybe that'll be the pump-up songs. Anyways, excited to watch them this season. Excited for fantasy purposes specifically. Again, I don't think they're going to be winning a ton of games, but they're going to be fun games. All right, let's get into last night's action because there was a little bit more. So Hornets 117, OKC. Wait, did I forget TH? I did forget THT. You know what, Santa's boy? I don't know what THT's lines were. I don't really care, but we will do a drop. Santa's boy, you boots on the ground in Utah. Well, look at that bed head right now, dude. That's how you know I'm not feeling well because I didn't take the time to put a little product in my hair. Is that boots on the ground from Salt Lake City that THT is starting? I don't know if that's true yet. Maybe he gets first crack at it. Anyways, let's do, dude. So Hornets, they sat most of their dudes. J-Dub was their only real guy that went out there and played. He played 23 minutes at 18, 9, and 5 in 23 minutes. He continues to be a very exciting baller. Wiggins, not Andrew, but Aaron. Aaron Wiggins had 16 and 4. Micic, right? Micic. I think it's a hard Micic. He had 6, 8, and 3. I'm so fascinated how they're going to use him because he's really not a shooter either, but a really solid playmaker. God, OKC just has so much. Cason Wallace got the start too. He didn't do too much. He only played like 8 minutes. And then listen, I know our man hands drop is for Terrence Mann, but let's get a Trey Man.
Let me see your man hands, money.
Trey Man was out there. What did he do? Sorry, I'm all over the place. Trey Man had 18 off the bench, and another drop because PJ Mother in Washington went out there and dropped. What was it? 31 and 3. And you're like, oh wow, 31 points from PJ. How many minutes did he play? 40? No, he dropped 31 points in 24 minutes.
PJ Washington. PJ Washington. PJ Washington.
God, PJ's so good. PJ's so good. Let me hit the rest of those Charlotte stats before I yell about something. Rozier had 19 and 6. LaMelo 16, 6 and 6. Brandon Miller didn't do too much, but he got the start. So Miles Bridges turned himself in. He had a fun little mugshot that came out. And he's back at practice. And I was like ready to tune up the Charlotte Hornets. I was ready to yell about it. And I wonder, is this one of these situations where they're not allowed to take any sort of punitive action until it plays itself out? Or could they be like, hey, Miles, can you at least just like go away for a little while? Like just take a week off, just go away till this is sorted out. I did think it was weird that he was like back in practice later that day and like still with the team. I don't really know. I hate it. I don't want to talk about it from a basketball sense. I just want him gone. I don't think we need that garbage in the league. And I'm talking both about his actions and him as a person. Like, just get him on out. Get him on out. We don't need that. But to transition to basketball a little bit, it does make me a little bit more excited about seeing this team with Brandon Miller starting, because I imagine Brandon Miller we called out that preseason game a week ago or so where Brandon Miller was coming off the bench, and I think their starting five was Scary Terry, LaMelo, Bridges, PJ, Mark Williams. And now with him gone, it should be Brandon Miller slotting in there, which again makes everybody, the fantasy goodness of everybody, a little bit better. Let's shout out Tom Ziller's Good Morning It's Basketball one more time. I'm going to read you what he wrote about Mark Williams, because Mark Williams was the second guy that he was jacked up about in this after Tyler Hero and Mark Williams. He says, until Brandon Miller proves otherwise, Mark Williams is the second most exciting prospect on the Hornets roster after LaMelo Ball. When he could suit up towards the end of last season, he had taken over as the starting center for the club. That should continue. Still, just 21. Williams is already one of the best rebounders in the league, a good finisher and a shot blocker. What Ziller is most excited about here is that Ball and Williams only played 321 minutes together last season. This should be a rich combo, both with Williams screening and rolling hard for Ball's wildest lob attempts for a 1-5 defensive battery that theoretically tortures opponents if Ball truly locks in on defense. The best thing that Ziller said, though, the rest of the team is a tire fire and the vibes seem atrocious, but Mark Williams is worth watching. Listen, I will read anybody who pumps up Mark Williams. I'm telling you that right now. If you have a Mark Williams piece, send it my way. I will read it out. I'll share it because I am buying all the Mark Williams hype. I'm going to look at my exposure in a little bit, but good Lord. Yeah, Brackenridge saying get a lot of PJ, so send his ass. Yeah, me too. I got a lot of PJ and a lot of Mark Williams, but I really am excited about Mark Williams, both again from like SoRare fantasy, whatever. But I'm also I think he's going to have a really big second year. And again, I don't think Charlotte's going to be like very competitive or anything, so there's no reason not to just run him into the ground. Mark Williams over Time Lord. Right now, because I'm not sure how Portland's going to use Time Lord, right? Because I know he had a little injury scare too, because he almost played. I think he's fine. He almost played a preseason game, and they're like, "Hey, JK." But I imagine Time Lord gets moved right to a competing team, because it'd be silly for Portland to keep him on that deal. Like, just move him, man. Just move him. All right, let's keep going. I lost my spot. Okay, yeah, so we covered that game. Heat and Grizz, Heat culture, bounce back, 132-124. And you know what? Before we talk about this game, we're just going to hit you with it. Oh man, sorry, I just downed the rest of my coffee. Whew! Tyler Hero went nuts. 30 points in 31 minutes. He went for 30 and 6. Bam was out there. He had 26 and 6 with 3 blocks. He only played 25 minutes. I think he got 3 blocks in like the first quarter and a half. Kenny Lofton, who there was some weird report, or I don't know if it was weird, but about him weighing over 300 pounds going into camp. And then like Chris Verno, I think it was like a part of a conversation. I think the quote was taken out of context a little bit. But anyways, Lofton looked good off the bench, had 15. Zaire Williams, who again, he kind of was like banished last season. And now this is the third or fourth time we've talked about him. But he had 19 off the bench. Santi Aldama dropped 15. Desmond Bain had 26 and 4 and Triple J with 14 and 6. No Marcus Smart in this game. Obviously no John Morant. Although there was a report that Ja is actually able to practice with the team and like hang out at the facility and stuff throughout this season. So it shouldn't affect the vibes, or maybe it does affect the vibes. Who knows? Who knows? But good win for Miami. Raps played CNS. I think that's the Taipans. The only player I'm going to shout out, Elf Payton did. Elfrid Payton playing for this international team, CNS, dropped 21, 7, and 7. But here's what I found surprising. That was off the bench. So I don't know if they treat the preseason like the NBA does, where they're just like mixing and matching different fives, seeing what works and what doesn't, giving people different roles. Elf Payton, though, Elf on a Shelf, baby, was out there cooking 21, 7, and 7 against the Toronto Raptors. This game was over pretty quickly, though. Not a lot to take away from Toronto, except for Scotty Barnes only played 18 minutes and dropped 14, 5, and 4. That's good to see. That's the type of lines we want it, well, per minute basis anyways, the type of lines we're hoping to see from Scotty Barnes this season, because he's going to be that point forward for them. And then Siakam, 12, 7, and 5 in 17 minutes. A lot of weird Siakam buzz last couple of days. Joker Rock saying Ja can do everything but be in the building during the games, including travel with the team. That's good. Thank you, Joker Rock. Boots on the ground. We love boots on the ground. All right. More importantly, Bucks and Lakers. Let's get some hype here. Bucks 108-97. Actually, Santa Boy, before I do that, Santa's boy says, are you buying Scotty stocks? Yeah. I'm down. I'm in New York City, as you guys know, and I'm on Wall Street, and I'm in there. I'm ringing the bell in the morning. I'm getting all the Scotty Barnes I can. I am going to buy it. I'm choosing to believe. Okay. I did think it was funny. I posted a community poll and I was like, who wins most improved player? People were like Scotty Barnes. And I love the idea of you win rookie of the year and then your second year didn't live up to snuff. So then your third year, you can win most improved player. There's no way that's happened before in NBA history, right? From rookie of the year to then most improved your third year. Or I don't see it happening unless they turn into like a superstar their third year, right? And we're not even saying he turns into superstar. It's more of like banking off what he did last year. Anyways, I am buying the Scotty Barnes hype, though. I'm ready. I'm ready for Scotty Barnes. I want to lean into it and have a great time. Bucks Lakers, though. This is the first time Dame and Giannis are together. Joker Rock was saying Ja did it. So everything I just said is garbage right away. But the difference with Ja, right? It's not that Ja had a bad second year. He just turned into a superstar's third year. Maybe that take sucked. I suck. Let's take a mental health break, actually, because of how much I suck. We deserve a break here. Let's do it.
Hey man, I noticed that some of my Series 2 moments, I spent a lot of money on them and it's not worth as much. So, Jacob, can you make it worth more?
Yeah, we're forcing the drops this morning because I'm coughing a lot. But you can't tell. You can't tell because I'm on my game. But anyways, Dame, 14 and 4 in 22 minutes. Giannis had 16 and 8 in 15 minutes. Anthony Davis played 16, 7, and 5 in 18 minutes. No LeBron. Christian Wood and Anthony Davis started together. That's hilarious. Man, Giannis dropped some post moves last night. There was one where he was down with Anthony Davis and just kind of hitting him with some Akeem stuff. It did look like he switched his pivot foot like 4 or 5 times, but still looked good. This Giannis Dame stuff, man, like it's funny. People are like, dude, their pick and roll is going to be unstoppable. Their offense is going to be nuts. But then you actually see it, and it's like, man, there was this like Giannis hit Dame with something in the Dame's like on the angle. Dame's just like jab stepping, and then hits one of his deep threes. And I'm like, Giannis has never had this, man. And that's no shade on Drew Holiday or Middleton or any other player that he's played with. But, man, Dame is just like, it's just a different caliber of guy that Giannis has. And that offense really is going to be legit. And I'm very excited to watch it, even though it makes me nervous as a Celtics fan. So I'm buying that hype, too. And I know it's preseason. You don't want to, like, get get too over the moon about anything, but man, he looks good. Weisberg, yes, you're right. Hakeem scammed him, says Santa's boys. Anyways, yeah, that's I'm both nervous and excited to watch that Bucks Lakers. I do still think there's like some real holes. Weisberg saying Bucks ran a lot of fun stuff with Giannis and Dame. Giannis said post game that's the most open he's ever been. Yeah, Giannis after the game too said Dame got double teamed the first possession of the game and he was like blown away. Giannis couldn't believe that that's what was happening. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be fun. They're going to score a lot of points. A lot of points. All right, let's go. How many games we got left? 3 games? 2 games left. Nuggets and Bulls. This one went to, the next one did. Nuggets won 116-102. So the one takeaway, the Bulls didn't play any of their starters, right? There was no Levine, no DeRozan, no Vucci Main, but Patrick Williams dropped 20 points last night. And he's just, listen, we know he can do the defensive stuff. His rebounding needs to get a little bit better, but we know he's a solid defender out there. All of a sudden, he's putting up 20 a game. You know he's going to get a lot of run, and he's gonna play a lot if the Bulls are competitive, but he's still going to play a lot if the Bulls suck, right? If the Bulls get off to a slow start and they move off to Rosen or Levine trade rumors, Vooch trade rumors, whatever, Pat Williams is still going to be there, and he's going to get a ton of minutes. And that might not be fun basketball to watch, but if you are someone drafting best ball or SoRare or DFS, Patrick Williams is a name I'm going to pay attention to. And on that same vein, Kobe White, another guy that they re-signed, dropped 20 and 3 in those minutes. And Rosenbaum, Daniel Rosenbaum. He's only 22. 22, it's huge for Pat Williams. So I do think he's not moving anywhere and is in line for a good amount of playing time one way or another. Io at 12, 7, and 4. Sorry, I was talking about Kobe White. That's another guy like Io, Kobe. I don't think any of those are big trade candidates, right? If they move off of any of those guys, it's going to be like the bigger names. So those all seem like fun fantasy plays. On the Nuggets side of things, Jamal only played 22 minutes, dropped 21 and 5. Jokic only played 23 minutes, dropped 15, 9, and 5. He had that crazy, put the ball behind his back, then running out of bounds, knocked it down. It's crazy. And yes, I have this noted, bolded, ready to go. The big takeaway I have from the Nuggets is that Strother is going to be dependent on for a huge bench role after Christian Brown. That's what we were saying last week, right? I think I even did a short about Julian Strother. I'm excited to have Adam Maris from DNVR on next week to talk about specifically him. So Strother last night dropped 23 points off the bench in 25 minutes. He's played 3 preseason games. He's dropped 25, 16, and now 23. Or was that 20? No, 25, 16, and 23. Absolutely cooking right now. And Hunter Tyson, right? We talked about him a little bit. The guy who from Summer League, who I made a white joke. He had 13 and 5 in 17 minutes. I do think both of those guys are going to get meaningful minutes. I do agree with Weisberg. Christian Brown is going to be the first guy off the bench, but they have to replace some of that, the minutes and the usage of both Jeff Green and Bruce Brown, who were big guys for them, right? And I don't know how much they want to be relying on dudes like Reggie Jackson, right? So I think Strother and Hunter Tyson, I think, are going to get real shots. Actually, let me look at the Denver Nuggets roster real quick, because I was trying to think, are the Nuggets out there just seeing what they have in these guys, or are they in a real spot here to make some noise? So let me look. So the Nuggets last night played a bunch of dudes. So their bench looks like Zeke Naji, Jamal Pickett, something Key. I don't know Key's last name. Hunter Tyson, who we talked about, right? So they got Tyson, Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson's a real guy. Connor Gillespie, who missed most of last season with the injury, the rookie now second-year dude out of Villanova. Tony, another Pickett. They got 2 Picketts. That's cool. So this is real. What we're seeing from Strother is real. I mean, again, preseason, so he's probably not going to be dropping 20 a game, but I do think it's worth paying attention to what he's doing. And he's going to be my 16th round pick, I think, for the next week. I'm going to just try to get overweight on Strother. Also, Jared Magnuson in the chat. We know it's a good morning because Stan's out here throwing some shade. We love that. Swingman Podcast in here said, I've heard some really smart people on SoRare picked up Sharp, 8, and Yuta. Those are all the guys I picked up, George. We love that. And you know what? We're going to take our first official break, right? Weird breaks. We're going to do a little SoRare ad read on behalf of today's NBA bit is brought to you by SoRare. Daily fantasy sports is annoying. Constantly paying attention to injury news, who's starting, who's sitting, and just having to remember to enter your lineups each and every day. With SoRare, you just have to enter your lineup once for each game week. And instead of having to pay an entry fee each time you enter a contest with SoRare, once you buy your cards, the tournaments are free. Each game week, you'll have have a chance to win more card rewards to bolster up your roster. And this year, SoRare is introducing cash prizes. So sign up for SoRare today using the link in the description, and they'll start you with 20 free common cards. And by using our link, once you buy 5 cards from auction, they'll give you a 6th one free. So sign up for SoRare today and see if you can take down Mike SoRarian. There we go. And since we have a bunch more people here, let me just recap real quick. We've got the SoRare sponsored tip-off show that I'm going to be doing live from the SoRare studios a week from tomorrow from noon to 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to read off this guest list one more time, all right? Ian Carmel from All Fantasy Everything, former head writer for James Corden, big-time comedian and Portland Trailblazers fan. He's going to be on the show. Adam Mayers from DNVR, which if you guys don't know DNVR, it's like one of the cooler things. It's basically it's like a cooler bar stool in my opinion, but they cover everything Denver Nuggets. They open up their own sports bar and do all of their live podcasts from there. It's dope. We get Skeets, obviously from No Dunks, coming on. Andrew Schleck from Down to Dunk and The Athletic is coming on to talk Thunder. Katie Heindel's going to be here. Keith Parrish from Fast Break Breakfast. We've got Marcus Thompson from The Athletic to come on and talk the Warriors. We also have Howard Beck from The Ringer. We've got a crazy ass show. So I'm very excited for the show. Make sure you're out there hanging out. Joker Rock was saying too, check the auction this morning. It was weird seeing it empty. It kicks off tomorrow, baby. Tomorrow they've got a bunch of fun stuff coming. I think a bunch of fun stuff coming out. I know the auction starts tomorrow. Do I get likeness funds for SoRarian nickname? You should, Billy. You should, Borland. Billy said, I was terrified when SoRare mentioned daily contests. Only needing to pay attention twice a week is huge. I know. I like they're sprinkling in some other stuff too, but how much smaller are the rare contests than the limited? Also, where the hell is the merch I won in the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know where it is. They announced that information. I don't have it in front of me, Stan. Maybe I'll pull that up. We'll talk about it tomorrow, since tomorrow's like the big announcement day. We'll talk some more SoRare. But yeah, they are smaller. Like I think there's only. I'll have to go check. D-Rose says, so if this is my second year on SoRare, do I need to buy new cards? Yeah, we'll do a full thing tomorrow. But yeah, so you can use year 1 cards. The biggest difference between year 1 and year 2 is the boost change, right? So in year 1, when the year is live, you have like a 5% boost on all limited cards, right? The second we move to year 2, you lose the boost for year 1 cards, and year 2 get the boost. But if you were playing the whole time, you earn that XP, so it kind of cancels out. Hope that's helpful. I know it's a little confusing. Anyways, we still got one more game left, baby. And I was excited to talk about this one. So the Golden State Warriors play the Kings, 121-115. This one goes to overtime. No Steph in this game. Clay only played 17 minutes, but went 2 for 3 from 3, dropped 12 points quickly, and then moved. Wiggins dropped 20 points in 22 minutes. Moody had 16 off the bench. Kuminga had 28 and 6. So Kuminga dropped 28 points. And in the first game, Kuminga dropped 26 points. There was a game last week where he's 20 points plus. Kuminga's been balling this preseason. And here's tinfoil hat. They obviously need Kuminga if the Warriors bench is pretty depleted. They don't have a ton of depth. So if Kuminga balls, I think they'd be happy with that, right? Obviously, they're like, good, we have a reliable bench guy. But part of me, are they just like showcasing Kuminga right now? Are they like, Kuminga, go get your buckets, baby. Go get your buckets. Remember, because there was a lot of tension. Kuminga had a rough attitude there down the stretch in that King series, was basically like a big time player for them while Wiggins missed like 4 months that nobody talks about anymore, right? And then was kind of played out of the rotation, had a bad attitude, butt heads with Steve Kerr. Maybe Steve's like, listen, dude, I know you don't want to be here. This isn't the squad for you. What if we just make you look awesome? And then we get you out of here. You know? I don't know. I don't know if that's the right move. I think I would just want Kuminga to be good and reliable and just play him. But I don't know. Tinfoil hat, baby. Yes, you do need to get into that stuff. Now they have cash prizes. Kuminga is out of there, in my opinion, says We the People. Steve Kerr hates young players, says Santa's boys. Yeah, that's kind of where I lean. The thing is, though, they don't have they just don't have depth, right? So they'd have to get like real pieces that could play right now, like good vets to come in and play. Weisberg saying, watched a lot of that game last night. Interesting they played him as much as they did. Good point. His agent leaked that he was unhappy. Yeah, I kind of think this might be them showcasing him to get him out of there. Like, and maybe like Draymond might miss a couple of games early on, right, with that injury, or maybe I don't know, that first month or two of the season they play him hard, and and then get him out of there. Swingman saying Chris Paul and the sixth man of the conversation is something that people are afraid to talk about. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I just think it's not going to happen. I just don't think he's going to do enough. I don't think he's going to do enough. And Borland saying hot take Duarte. Yeah, let me finish the King stuff, right? So I like Duarte too. I think that is, again, just a shooter to come off the bench is more of that for them, right? On the King side of things, Sabonis continues to just be very efficient, right? He dropped, what was it? Sorry, I lost my place. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, guys. Where are we? Okay, yes. Sabonis had 19, 11, and 5 in 25 minutes. Fox had 17, 6, and 5. Regulator says Kuminga and Clay for Cat. So I think would they have to extend Clay first to make that work? I don't know if that works money-wise, Regulator, but that's interesting. Speaking of Karl-Anthony Towns, there was weird reports. I always like where the Knicks are like, we're monitoring Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, people just saying stuff, man. People just out here talking, right? Like, I'm monitoring ESPN's job openings. Like, what are we what are we doing? Is there any real smoke there, or the Knicks just trying to sprinkle some stuff out there, you know? But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I really think the Timberwolves this season anyways are going to see what they have from that core, because they did give Denver a little bit of trouble in that, well, not really. They won a game and they almost won 2 games, right? So maybe they just want to see a full season of this squad. You got another year of McDaniel, see how he progresses. Ant-Man might be taking a leap this year, right? So maybe you just see what happens. Weisberg saying they really need the fact that the Kings had Herter come off the bench. Might be some preseason stuff, but boy, was he unhappy post game. Yeah. And Terrence, what's up, Terrence? Says Duarte is better than Herter. Okay, this is a hot ass take right here. Wow. I don't think I would go that far yet. So Terrence, let me ask you this. Are you a little salty after the Herter playoff performance? Because that's how I was. I was pretty frustrated when, mainly for like DFS purposes, but Herter kind of disappeared and clammed up in those games and just was shooting like 4% from the field. I don't think they want to rely on Duarte, right? But it's nice to have a flamethrower come off the bench, and if he's hot, you let him run, and if he's not, you take him out, right? Just like a good heat check guy, and just another guy to put on that bench. They got a lot of those weird guards that they can just throw out there, right? Because is T-Dot still there? Is Terrence I abuse people Davis still there, or is and they still got Malik Monk? Like, just have a lot of those guys. Wow, Herter is the redhead. No, I know who Herter is. I know who Herter is. And no offense to redheads. Also, Terrence, dude, my wife is a redhead, so you better you're on slippery slope right here, my friend. Also, Terrence, are you new to the channel, man? Thanks for being here. And if you're not new, maybe it's your first time commenting. Either way, happy you're here, my dude. I wouldn't trade Ben Simmons for Clay. Okay, where did this come from? People throwing that take out there? I like this. I like these takes. But anyways, we only have a few days left of the preseason. The NBA season right around the corner. Tonight, 89 Cavs. Justin and Steve return. That's at 7 o'clock. We'll be back. I think we're going to be doing awards, right? Because we did the chat. We did the standings last week of the top 10 of the East and the West. And then this week we're banging out some of the MVP awards and just seeing some wild stuff. We'll have Steve just yell some stuff. Very excited for that. So that's tonight at 7. Make sure you tune in for that. Clay's been pretty bad in the preseason, says Weisberg. So I saw a report late last night. Also, it's so funny that Bob Myers was on the studio show with Woj and everybody else as they were talking about Clay's extension. And there was some rumors over the weekend that they were like, yeah, Clay actually doesn't want as much money as you think. And he's not really concerned, wants to stay with the core. They feel like they're in a good place. So it sounded like that deal was going to get done. And then all of a sudden, extension talks done. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They makes it seem like they are going to, the report was like Clay's ready to hit unrestricted free agency, which would be surprising. I don't know though, who else is going to go out there and drop a bag for Clay at this point, you know? So I don't know if he's going to get more money on the open market at this point. We'll see. I mean, I love Clay. Clay is like a fun dude to watch. I've been a fan of him for a while. That injury run sucked so bad. But like we were watching last year, right? In that playoff series, the Warriors against the Kings, Sabonis, who is not known for any sort of defensive quickness, would get switched on to Clay, and then Clay couldn't get by him. And so then now, and Clay's not really the defender that he once was either. So now he's just become a lights out 3-point shooter, which is still super valuable. But what made Clay the max type of guy that he was is that he was doing it on both ends. And I just don't know if he has that. Now, reports were like, hey, he actually had a real off season. He got into shape. He was doing some stuff. He's not afraid of his body anymore. So maybe we see Clay come out here and ball out. And now the Warriors actually screwed themselves by not doing the extension because he's shown that he still has the ceiling, right? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Mike, what's your hot takes as Santa's boy for the season? Well, my hot take, also Bill Simmons, bro. Are you watching my content? So my hot take was the Oklahoma City Thunder that I dropped in like April and May. All off season, we've been talking about how OKC is going to be a top 4 team in the West. They are going to host a playoff season in the Western playoffs, and they're going to get bounced in the first round. I basically was saying the Oklahoma City Thunder are the Sacramento Kings. And then Bill Simmons does a pod, and he's like, oh my God, what if they're a top 4 team in the West? And then KOC dropped this Joel Embiid. What could he be a trade candidate to OKC? We also had that conversation. And then Woj gets on there and he was like, "Oh my God, what if the West are a top 4 team in the West?" Like, come on. I mean, the OKC. Anyways, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of OKC. I think they're going to be a top 4 team in the West. The other thing, I mean, I think the Sixers. I think Tyrese Maxey makes an All-Star team. That's going to be the other one. I think Tyrese Maxey makes the All-Star team. I don't think James Harden is going to play a single regular season game for the Sixers. And I think Maxey is going to go absolute ham. I was looking at some numbers. And Zach Lowe had Tim Bontemps on, and they were talking about it. I'm very excited about Maxey. I think the Sixers are going to finish like 6th or something in the West, but I think Maxey is going to go off. Embiid even had some comments about making Maxey an All-Star this year, so I'm excited about Tyrese Maxey. So those are my 2 hot takes. Hot takes. And I'll show you, actually, let me go over because I wanted to show you how like you can tell what my hot takes are based on where I'm drafting these bros in underdog basketball. We the people says supposedly Harden will play home games till he's traded. It's funny. If I was James Harden, I'd only play road games. So I love that he's like, nah, dude, I want to get booed 100% of the time. I like Hero too, Stan. I'm fine with the Hero take too. I think Hero, I'm excited for what Hero is going to do. All right, so let's go. I have done, what are you doing? I have done 96 underdog basketball drafts, which is crazy. I don't want to think about that too much. I'm going to show you my exposure here. So we'll start at guards. Can you guys see this okay? So I have 33% Keontae George. So for those that were like, hey, Mike, I think you're being a little too high on Keontae George, even higher. 27% Jamal Murray. And here's my Maxey take. There you go, 24% Maxey. And then we got J-Dub and Cade Cunningham all over 20%. Devin Vassell and Shaedon Sharpe right behind them. Then we get some Giddey, some Scoot, some Bogdan, Conley. SGA's over 14%. Benedict Matherin's over 14%. Christian Brown right there. I'm going to try to get some D'Anthony Melton too, because what if Melton starts next to Maxey with no James Harden there? Then we get some Cam Thomas, some Amen Thompson, Steph Curry, Austin Reeves, LaMelo, Simons, and Brogdon, White, Jalen Green, Luka, Fultz, all over 10%. There you go. That's all over 10%. Regulator in the chat too saying Hero's better than Bradley Beal. There were some reports that Miami believes that as well, right? There was reports that came out that Miami weren't interested in Bradley Beal at all because they liked Hero's upside a little bit more. We're going to look at wings. We're still high on Zion, which is going to come back and bite me in the tuchus. But 28% on the old Zion. We got 25% on Jeremy Sohan. I'm just going to read everything that's over 10%. Kawhi, right under 20. Jarris Walker, 18. Paul George, 18. PJ Washington, 17%. Keegan, 15. Jovic, 14. I was hammering Jovic because I thought he was going to Portland. Trey Murphy, I've been trying to get a lot of lately. He's at 14%. Tyree Eason, 13. Jabari Smith Jr., 13. I thought I had way more Jabari. Bilal Coulibaly, I've been trying to draft way more of, 12%. KJ Martin, Oscar Thompson, Andrew Wiggs, Jaylen Brown, Jaden McDaniels, Scotty Barnes, Mikal Bridges, Michael Porter Jr., and Cam Whitmore, all over 10%. Nigel says, I'm new to NBA basketball. Do you have any strategy to lean towards? So this is what I've been doing, man. Yeah, if you can't get an elite big, right? Because the way the scoring works, it's 2 guards, 2 wings, and 1 big, and then 1 or 2 flex spots. I can't remember. I think it's just 1 flex spot, right? So overloading on wings is important because the wing drop off happens quick. All of a sudden, you're drafting dudes like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, right? So try to get those wings early. And then I try to get one talented big. So whether it's Jokic, we got a doggo sighting. What's up, big dog? Trying to get one of those elite bigs early. And if I don't get an elite big, I'm trying to hammer Wendell Carter Jr., Mark Williams, like that range of a top 100. But Nigel, I've done a couple of streams you can find. You can find it in our playlist under NBA Best Ball where I go through the drafts. So definitely check that out. And then last but not least, bigs, right? Dude, look at this. Mark Williams, 32%. Anthony Davis, 26%. I've been drafting so much Anthony Davis, 26%, 26%. Then Wendell Carter Jr. I just talked about, 25. Time Lord, Lively, Robinson, and then I get some Steven Adams in there, some Kevon Looney, Jalen Duren, Chet Holmgren, which I wish I had more of, Okongwu, Zach Collins. Now I'm going to keep scrolling so you can see where Wemby, only 6 shares of Wemby so far. I need to get more Wemby. I need more Wemby. I wish I had more. I just want more Wemby. I'm so nervous about it now. But anyways, that's my best ball exposure. Excited about that. All right. Hey, just a reminder, 89 Cavs tonight, 7 p.m. If you're new to the show this morning, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We do this show, the NBA Bit, all year long, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. So just come back tomorrow morning. We'll be back. Wednesday night, we'll have Shot Tank at 9 p.m. And then Friday, for you underdog freaks, we'll be doing some best ball, some dailies, some pick'ems at 3 p.m. We'll do a little underdog happy hour. We should have a guest this week. Should be a good time. Hope everybody had a nice weekend, though. Happy Monday. Let's get out there. Let's get after it. No Dunks is back. Go watch them. They're back on their daily shit. So we're excited to be back. 1 week away, baby. One more week. Hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and I will see you all tomorrow.